Do you want to learn how to master your mindset? Then listen to my story about firewalking to understand the three keys that affect how you show up in the world. I'm Tina Andrews. I'm a life transitions coach. I help women navigate midlife as they search for renewed purpose and joy. Imagine standing in front of a 12-foot strip of red hot burning coals at 2,000 degrees and then making the decision to walk across it barefoot. No, this wasn't a dream. It wasn't a nightmare. It was actually my reality back in 2016 on an October night at a Tony Robbins event. And I had been a fan of Tony Robbins for years. Back in the day, I listened to his audios, I'd read his books, watched all his YouTube videos. I had always dreamed of going to a live event, but I never really thought I would do it. I never really thought I was the type of person that would do it or that I was at the right level in life to do it, whatever that means. And then there was a moment of serendipity. As I was returning from a business conference on the return flight home, I ended up sitting next to another coach, and he started talking about his experience at the Tony Robbins events he'd gone to and how it had really impacted his life. And when he understood or learned about all that I had read and how much I loved all the teachings of Tony Robbins, he really, really encouraged me to make the decision and go. So in that moment on the airplane, I decided when I got home, I'm going to research the next event and I'm going to sign up for it. So now fast forward about 3 months, I'd flown across the country by myself. I am immersed with about 1,000 other people at this UPW event, so Unleash the Power Within. And I know that by the end of that night, at the end of the first night, I'm going to be walking across those red hot coals. Now, Tony prepared us for that fire walk for about 5 hours. So he took us through guided meditations and helped us direct our focus. He led us through visualizations where he took us through step by step the process. So we were in our mind's eye, we were visualizing that. And then he also had us pick a power pose. And this is something that we were conditioned to get into instantly, something that we could cue our nervous system to snap into peak state so that we could walk over those coals safely. Now, the time had come for us to go outside and head to those 12-foot sections of burning hot coals. So we took off our shoes and our socks, and I had rolled up my pant legs. And I still remember that feeling of that, of the grass, that it was wet, that cold, wet grass between my toes. And the line kept inching forward, and I was kind of holding back. I was letting everybody else kind of go in front of me. Because I was starting to freak out inside. I was like, what in the world am I doing? Yet, as I was watching person after person walk across these coals successfully, I started believing I could do it too. And just to be clear, there are precautions in place. So when you reach the front of the line, one of the trainers, one of the people that Tony had trained, would stand next to you, and they're watching your pupils closely as you get into your power pose before they yell go. And they can tell just by looking in your eyes if you're in the right state of mind or not. And if you're not, they'll pull you off the line. So the next thing you know, it's my turn and my heart is just pounding. And as I step up, I do my power pose and I hear the trainer yell, go. And I instinctively step forward as I've rehearsed in my mind, and I'm looking straight across at the horizon, and I'm walking with purpose, and I'm saying over and over out loud, cool moss, cool moss, cool moss, cool moss, just like we had been instructed. And on that last step, I broke my focus. I looked down and I felt a sharp pain. But at this point, the trainers are waiting for me on the other side. They're hosing down my feet. We're celebrating. They're giving me high fives. And I am just in awe. I'm like, oh my God, I actually did it. I was looking behind me and it's like, yes, I did it. So why am I telling you this story, and what purpose does this serve? Well, the story of the firewalking is a fantastic example of learning how to master your mindset. In any given moment, in any day, our state is defined by 3 factors. So the first factor is our physiology. So what this means is how we're holding our body. So to prepare for the firewalk, we created this power pose, which we trained our nervous system to respond to in a very specific way. And we went through that over and over. But anytime in life, the quickest way to shift how you feel is by moving your body. So think about it. If you're up dancing or playing with your kids or even having a really good belly laugh, it elevates your mood immediately, right? There's a great TED talk by Amy Cuddy, and she talks about power poses. And she recommends standing with your arms like the Superwoman pose for 2 full minutes like this before you're going into a meeting or a conversation where you really need to feel empowered. Because just by changing your physiology, you change how you show up. The second factor that affects your mindset is your focus. Now, in the Firewalk, we were told to look up at the horizon and up. They didn't want you to look down for a very good reason, because your brain is going to freak out when it sees your toes over those hot coals, which is exactly what happened on that last step. I looked down and I lost my focus. I ended up getting a little blister on that pinky toe from the hot coals on that very last step. Now, Wayne Dyer has said, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And so basically, if you think about it, are you focused on the problems in life, or are you focused on the solution? Are you focused on what's missing in your world, or do you express gratitude for what you do have? Or are you focused on everything you can't control, or do you just put your energy towards what you can have an impact on? Remember, where your focus goes, your energy flows. Now, the third key to managing your mindset is your language and the meaning that you give things. So in the Firewalk, we had repeated those words, cool moss, cool moss, cool moss. So the meaning or the image that I created from those words was a visualization of a mountain stream with the moss over the big rocks. And so that's what I was holding in my mind when I was saying cool moss, cool moss. It was a visualization that kept my mind calm and cool. But think about in your daily life, what intensity of words do you choose? I mean, you could say that you're pissed off or you're devastated about something, or, maybe it's inconvenient or it's a little bit frustrating. I mean, do you feel the difference in the energy just between those? The words we choose matter. Similar words can carry a completely different energy to them. So if you want to change your life, pay attention to the words that you say to yourself on a daily basis, on a weekly basis. Are they encouraging you and those around you, or is it self-defeating? So that's the triad, as Tony Robbins calls it. It's the three forces that control your mindset. So the first was physiology, so how you hold your body. The second is the focus. What are you spending your energy focusing on? And the last is the language you're using. Are you saying positive or negative things to yourself? And here's the thing, we get to choose every day and in every situation. I mean, do we want to show up with a presence about us? Do we want to be intentional? Do we want to act in a way that serves ourselves and others? The choice is up to you. Check your physiology, your focus, and your language, and master your mindset.